Hello children, in my previous video I have told you the summary of this chapter, The Great Train Journey, and today I will explain you this chapter. Suraj waved to a passing train and kept waving until only the spiraling smoke remained. He liked waving to trains. He wondered about the people in them and about where they were going and what it would be like there. And when the train had passed, leaving behind only a hot, empty track, Suraj was lonely. Now, in this first paragraph, we get to know that Suraj is a boy of your age and he loves to wave at the people when the train passes. And he always used to think that where this train is going. And while he used to do this and the train would pass away, he would left all alone. And today it happened the same thing. And as the train came, he started waving at them. And once the train went away, he was left all alone and he was walking down the empty track. So while he was walking down the empty track, he was very alone. He was feeling lonely. He was a little lonely now. His hands in his pocket, he wandered long along the railway track, kicking at loose pebbles and sending them down the bank. Soon there were other tracks of a railway siding, a stationary goods train. Now, while Suraj was walking down the railway track, there were another track beside the railway track where he was walking, and over there were one more train, and this train was a goods train. Now, while Suraj was walking down the train track, he was trying to kick those pebbles you get to see in the railway track. Now, he was trying to kick these pebbles towards the bank. Now, over here, the bank means either the river bank, okay, or somewhere it could be a river bank or a pond somewhere next to it. All right. Suraj walked the length of the good train. The carriage doors were closed, and as there were no windows, he couldn't see inside. He looked around to see if he was observed, and then, satisfied that he was alone, began trying the doors. He was almost at the end of the train, and when the carriage door gave way to the thrust. So what did Suraj do? Suraj was walking down the entire goods train. Now, before that, I will explain you what is the meaning of goods train. Now, goods train are those trains which carries the goods items. When it's like suppose all the grocery things, all the important metals. Like whenever uh, it's not a passenger train where public do not normal public like me and you don't travel. It's the goods, the household things or the things furniture or anything is being transferred from one zone to the another zone. That's called a goods train. So while he was walking down the street, okay, walking down the railway track, he came across with this train. And while he was looking at it, and he was thinking that there might be someone inside the train, but actually there was no one. So that way he felt a little bit satisfied. All right, and somehow he was trying to push the door, and ultimately, what happened at the end? The door opened. When the door opened, what did he see? It was dark inside the carriage. Suraj stood outside in the bright sunlight, peering into the darkness, trying to recognize a bulky, shapeless object. He stepped into the carriage and objects were crates, and through the cross section of the woodwork he felt straw. He opened the door, and the sun streamed into the compartment, driving out the musty darkness. Now, when Suraj opened the door, what did he see? The sunlight had actually gone inside the compartment. And when the sun ray had fallen inside the compartment, he could see there were a lot of bulky, shapeless objects. And when he entered, he could also see that there were a lot of crates were there. Now, crates are things where it's a wooden box, right? Where fruits are kept, or sometimes the good equipments are being transferred from one zone to the another zone via railways. So that in that crates, and with that there are straws. Like the straws are kept so that the grains, the apples, or the certain things like which should not break, this should not destroy. So that is why straws are kept. Okay, so that it create a softness between the wood and the items kept inside the wooden box. So when Suraj opened, the inside was very dark, and it was like full with dust. So it and the entire environment was like gloomy environment. It was not at all a bright environment. Suraj sat down on a packing case, his chin cupped in his hand. The school was closed for summer holidays, and he had been wandering about all day and still did not know what to do with himself. Now, Suraj got inside the carriage, and when he went inside the carriage, he was sitting on top of the crate. And the way he was sitting, like he was sitting in his chin cupped hand. Now, can you see this picture? The way Suraj was sitting in a chin cupped hand. All right. And during this time, his school was closed because it was summer holidays. Now he was wondering in the summer holidays where he could go. Obviously, when summer holidays come, vacation, we love to travel to a different place. We want to take a rest from the hectic schedule. Okay, so we want to take rest and we want to relax our mind. So even Suraj also wanted to relax, and he was thinking where I can go with this train, or in this train where the train will take me. So all these things was playing in his mind, and he was sitting. Now let's go to the next page. The carriage was bare of any sort of glamour. Passing train fascinated him, moving train, crowded train, shrieking, painting train, all fascinated him. But this smelly dark compartment filled him only with gloomy and more loneliness. Now, in this paragraph, what we get to see is that the carriage, the way Suraj was sitting, it was totally an empty. All right, and it did not give him the glamour, which means it did not made him feel excitement in that. Whereas compared to this train, when he used to see the other trains like moving train with crowded people inside, painting train, all this train would fascinated him. But in this train, the train was full of smelly. It was smelling, okay, and it was dark compartment full with, and there was no kind of entertainment. All right, he was all alone in that particular compartment. He did not really look gloomy or lonely. He looked fiercely at times when he glared out at people from under his dark eyebrow. But otherwise, he usually wore a content look, and no one could guess what just how deep his thoughts were. So he actually was not a gloomy type of person. He was very exciting type of person, but at times he would stare at certain things and he would observe in his very deep thought. Perhaps if he had company, some fun could be had in the carriage. If there had been a friend with him, someone like Ranji. So he was all alone. So he was actually thinking that I'm so lonely in this compartment, and if I wish I could have my good friend with me in this compartment, at least we would have a lot of fun. He looked at the crates. He was always curious about things that were bolted or nailed down or in some way concealed from him. Things like parcel or locked up room and carriage door and crates. So in this line, it says that Suraj was always very much curious about the things which were bolted, which were nailed. That means basically which was sealed, okay, and moreover which was concealed, okay. And in this, what happened? The parcel, the crates where he was actually sitting, these were all nailed so that the things may not come out or may not fall while the train is moving, or people may not rob it, may go to the concerned person safely. So that is why the person put a nail, okay, and seal it so that only the person who is the owner will get the chance to open it. The receiver will get chance to open it. And due to this, Suraj was more curious what was inside that crate. He went from one crate to another, and soon his perseverance was rewarded. The cover of one had been properly nailed down. Suraj got his finger under the edge and raised up the lid. Absorbed in his operation, he did not notice the slight shudder that passed through the train. He plunged his hand into the straw and pulled out the knife. So, as the saying that hard work is always rewarded. Now, when Suraj was very much curious what was inside the crate, he was trying to. He was actually was in a big search. What could be there inside the crate? And while he was searching and searching, and luckily there was one crate. The nail was not put properly. It was not sealed. It was slightly open. So he managed to put his hand inside, and when he put his hand inside, he pulled out something. And when he pulled out, he found a lovely apple. Now, it was a dark ruby red apple, and it lay in the dusty palm of Suraj, hands like some gigantic precious stone, smooth and round and glowing in the sunlight. Now you see, if you see this paragraph, the first slide, the writer, Ruskin Bond, had nicely compared the red apple with the ruby. Ruby is a type of a precious stone which is red in color. So he had actually compared the apple with the color of ruby, and he said when the apple was taken out, it was like a ruby, red and ruby in color, and when the boy took out the apple from the crate, his hand was full of dusty, like as if he was holding a precious stone in his hand. Suraj looked up outside the doorway and thought he saw a tree walking past the door. And while after doing this, Suraj just looked out, and what he saw that the trains were actually the train had actually started moving, and the trains were, and the trees were, and the roads, whatever the scenario was actually going backward. He stopped, sorry, he dropped the apple and stared. There were another tree and another. All walked past the door with increasing rapidly. Suraj stepped forward but lost his balance and fell on his hand and knees. The door beneath him was vibrating. The wheels were clattering on the rails. The carriage was swaying. The trees were running now, dropping past the train. The telegraph pole joined them in the crazy race. Now, while Suraj could understand or realize what was actually happening, the trees were running fast. The roads and the other thing, what was outside the telegraph pole, everything started running. And while the train was in a very just got its speed, Suraj could not control the balance and he just fell down, or he just managed to sit down. And the doors, since it is an iron door, and it started vibrating. All right. Crouching on his hand and knees, Suraj stared out of the open door and realized that the train was moving fast, moving away from his home and puffing into the unknown. He crept cautiously to the door and looked out. The ground seemed to rush away from the wheel. He couldn't jump. Was there, he wondered, any way to stop the train? He looked around the compartment again. Only crates of apple. He would not starve. That was one consolation. Now, while the train started moving, for a moment, Suraj was very much worried. He was wondering where this train will take him, and he could see that from his homeland, the train has already moved ahead. Now, there a type of fear may have come into him, and he is trying to think that if he can manage to jump, but he couldn't because the train was in a very high speed, and he was trying his level best inside that carriage if there is any chance to stop the train, but that was also not possible. And inside the carriage, he was all alone. And one thing was happy, like he was happy of one thing, that there was an apple crate. So if you feel hungry, he can eat those apples. He picked up an apple he had dropped and pulled a crate near the door. Sitting down, he took a bite from the apple and stared out of the open door. Now, in this picture, we get to see like Suraj is sitting down, okay, and the apple is beside him. He's actually staring outside, okay. Now he is actually scared. Now he is looking outside and he don't know exactly what to do. This train was in a very high speed, moving very fast, and for a moment maybe he thought he got stuck inside this compartment. Now let's go to the next page. Greeting friends, said a voice from behind, and Suraj spun round, guilty, his mouth full of apple. Now, while Suraj was looking outside, a voice came, greeting friends. And Suraj was, for a moment, he was scared, and he was like his mouth was full of apple, and he was feeling guilty that he might have robbed, and there must be someone who is watching, and he could not say anything. There was a man, a dirty, bearded face, was looking out at him from behind the piles of coal. The mouth was open wide, palm stained. So there, inside that compartment, there was another man who was actually hiding behind the crate. And the entire time span, when the time Suraj entered the train, the man was actually looking at or staring at Suraj, what he was doing. The man had a very dirty type of clothes, bearded face, and moreover, he was having a pan stain in his mouth. Okay, after having the pan, the split is stick on the lips. Okay, so it was pan stain was there. Okay, Are Namaste, said Suraj apprehensively. Who are you? Now, Suraj is a good boy and he had respected this man. And he said, gave him respect and by saying, Are Namaste. The man stepped out from the behind the crates and confronted the boy. So he came out from the crate and he also felt a little relaxed. So he came out and he started talking to the boy, that is Suraj. I will have one of those too, he said, pointing up to the other. So he also wanted to eat the apple. So he told Suraj that I also want to eat the apple. So by pointing out, and he said, I want to eat those apples. Suraj gave the man an apple and stood his ground while the carriage rocked on the rail. The man took a step forward, lost his balance, and sat down on the floor. So Suraj gave the man an apple, and the man took the apple. And while he took the apple, the train was in a quite good speed. So he could not stand much. So the man sat down. Okay, and then on the floor only. And then what he had to say, let's see. And where are you going, friend? He asked. Have you a ticket? So he asked Suraj, where are you going, boy? Do you have a ticket? No, Suraj said. Have you? Now, Suraj is a very clever boy. Now, the moment the man asked, where are you going? Do you have a ticket? Suraj was very true, and he said, no, I don't have. But what about, Suraj questioned him, what about you? Do you have ticket? The man pulled at his beard and mused upon the question and did not answer it. He took a bite from the apple and said, no, I don't have a ticket, but I usually reserve this compartment for myself. This is the first time I have had company. Where are you going? Are you a hippie like me? Now, for a moment, the man did not say anything to Suraj. But after a while, he said that yes, I also don't have a ticket, and usually I reserve this compartment. And while I am traveling for all these years, okay, and all these days, I never came across anyone in this train. So today is the first time you are with me, and I will have a good company with you. So you are giving me a company to travel this way. So, and this gentleman, this man, the poor man, I rather say, or the dirty bearded faced man, is actually asking a question to Suraj that, where are you going? Number one. Number two, he asked that, are you hippie like me? Now, what is hippie? Hippie are those people, those who like to travel from one place to the another place, and they don't like to stay in one place for a long time. They go to another place 2 3 days, they stay, and then again they come out and go another place. So these people are known as hippies. So this man was basically a hippie. Okay, I don't know, said Suraj. Where does the train go? The scrubby, ticketless traveler looked concerned for a moment and said, where do you want to go? So in the beginning, Suraj said that he really don't know where this train was going, and we also came to know, right? Like while we were studying, we came to know that Suraj don't know even where the train will take him. So he over here also when he was talking with the man and asked him a question, and he said, I really don't know where the train will take. And this made this particular man be more concerned, and he asked him, where do you want to go? Now, Suraj, being a boy, he said that I want to go everywhere, said Suraj. I want to go to England and China and Africa and Greenland. I want to go all over the world. So Suraj had, has a lot of desire. He's having a lot of desire. He wants to go to England, he wants to go to China, he wants to go to America, Greenland, everywhere he wants to go. In fact, he wants to go all over the world. Okay? Now, children, one more thing I want to tell you. Over here, if you see these areas, there are certain places I have cut out, like England, there after and China. See the word and is cut out. Then China and Africa and is cut out. Do not get confused. Just follow the text what you are having. This is my style of giving the answers. So that is why I have cut. Otherwise, the book what you have received is absolutely perfect. Okay, there is no changes, don't cut anything. Okay, now let us go to the next. Then you are on the right train, said the man. The train goes everywhere. First it will take you to the sea, and there you will have to get on a ship, and you want to go to China, if you want to go to China. So the man had guided him very nicely that this train will drop you near the sea, and from there you get down and there's a ship. You jump, get into the ship, and the ship will take you to China. You have got into the right train. How do I get on the ship? Asked Suraj. Now, that was the question. So that Suraj was very much interested that he wants to go outside because this was his summer vacation, and that is why he wants to get more information how he will get into the ship. Okay, so children, you get to see the picture over here. The man, the hippie man, is sitting there. All right, and Suraj is asking the question, and this is the compartment where they both had a good conversation. So children, I am ending over here. Actually, I will make this another part. Okay, this video I will have another part because the chapter is big, so it will take another class. Okay, I will be taking another class to complete this chapter. I hope you have understood the chapter. Take care. God bless you. Thank you.